again with another video in the Decentraland Builder series. So what we're going to do here today is the second video from the recap from yesterday's Wearable Wednesday. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to cut out a logo or a texture or an item on your clothes that you are building if you want them to stick out. So basically, what we're going to do first is we're going to select our upper body. We're going to go into edit mode. We're going to go into face on our left hand corner, right hand click, and go into tries to quads. And we're going to go into wireframe mode like I did in just the very recent previous video. And we're going to select and highlight with our left click the section of the shirt we want to do. Make sure it is the section that we want. And we can just spin this around with the gyro tool. And I'm not going to worry too much about making it exactly like a t-shirt because our lesson here is to learn to cut it out. Alright, so now we go back into Y negative mode. And we go over to our color area. We're going to add a new texture. We're going to hit the plus sign, new texture, base color. We're going to do to an image texture. We're going to go to that logo that we have. And we're going to assign that. We're going to open up UV editor. We're going to go with this little picture guy. We're going to go find our logo. And now we're going to stretch it out. I'm just going to get this guy out. We're going to hit A and then S to make it larger. So you can see how I just sized it all up. We want to make sure we fix these guys over here. Make sure that there's nothing sticking out that we don't want to be. There we are. Alright, so now we're ready to cut this out. So we're going to zoom in a good amount. We're going to use our zoom tool. But zoom in so you can still see the full image in your frame. So I'm going to zoom in. There we go. Then we're going to go over to our palette on our left hand side. There's this little knife tool that's going through a square. It's called knife. We're just going to select it. And then we're going to start in the left side corner and we're going to just click and now drag. We're just clicking, we're not holding, we're just clicking. And we're just going to follow this texture we've made all the way around. And make sure that, see how it curves up here? Make sure you do some more verts there. We're just going to keep dragging. Oop. And so if you screw up and you hit escape, it'll delete the whole thing. So make sure you don't fully do that. So I'm just going to do this a little bit quicker. And I'm just going to do the H here. So you can see how I'm trying not to click on the lines here. We don't want to select on the lines because it'll screw up, your curvature if you're really trying to get this right. So I'm just really getting this going. See how it's trying to attach to it? So you want to just go just above it and get that curve in there. And we're almost done here. Now if you're in this position here, you might want to just go a little bit above and you can always alter that at the end. I'm going to follow this curve. Alright, we hit enter. So now what we can do is if we go into our select tool, make sure we're in face mode, we can now select what we just cut out. Alright, so now if we spin, If we accidentally click off, we can hit Control Z, we'll get that selection back. We'll zoom out a little bit. We can right click now and hit extrude faces among normals. When we do this, it's going to extrude these faces out here. We can make them very big, we can make them just big enough to make them pop out. So I'm just going to make it just big enough to pop out. And now we could go around, making sure that we select all these different faces, bring up UV mode, make sure that they're in the black if we want them in black, or if they're in the white, we want to make sure we put them in the white. So as you see, it fixes that kind of gradient texture. So also, you can see how this texture is pulled away from our original mesh. Now there's two ways we can solve that. If we go into our color area, if we turn down the specular, it won't allow us to see that because there's no reflections. But if we want to keep a little specular on it and make it a little bit more realistic, we can just select that face, right click, delete that face. Go into vert mode in our left hand side, and now we're going to select the corners of the square we just deleted. And we're going to go in here and keep selecting. Go all the way around. And then we're going to hit F on our keyboard. And that's going to kind of make it a little bit better of a texture. It's still going to pull away a little bit. If you really want to get away from all of that, you can just select these corners and go and hit F. So it takes away a lot of it. But again, you can play around with the specular, turn it down, and you won't even be able to see it coming off of there. So this is how you cut out a texture and kind of colorize that 3D texture that you just made. So yeah, I hope this guys have helped you, and that's the second recap from Wearable Wednesday. Stay tuned for another episode soon. Thank you guys.